What is going on, Internet? This is JD coming at you another video from Redskins Rant. Hail to the Redskins. Before I get started, please like, share, and subscribe on my video and my channel. This is going to be a video kind of recapping what's kind of happened the last week with the Redskins. First off, we won on Sunday. I actually did a video right afterwards, but I was coughing so much in it, so I didn't think it'd be appropriate to post that one because I have to edit out a lot of coughs. Feel a lot better today, though. Just got done Black Friday shopping, and I'm on my way to work. So, recapping about a lot of things about Haslam. I'm going to be good cop, bad cop with this because there's some good things. I'm going to be Captain Positive here for a few minutes. I'm going to be negative, but I'm also going to be positive. Okay, I'm going to go negative first. Dwayne Haskins needs to really increase his completion percentage. He was completing 44.5% of his passes. 150 yards. I'm sorry, but the Detroit Lions defense is not very good. He's overthrowing guys. He's missing guys. He's not getting rid of the ball quicker. He's getting sacked. Sometimes it looks like a statue. Now, anything else I want to go over before I get into some positives about Dwayne Haskins? The other negative is, I understand you're excited, and I'm glad you're excited that we won. I know he doesn't like losing, so that's one of his biggest things. So I can accept this. This is acceptable to me one time, but if it's a constant thing, then I'm going to be mad about it. I'm going to be upset. He wasn't available for the last the kneel down at the end after the last pick because he was messing around with a fan and getting a selfie done, taking pictures with fans. You know, and I get it, you're excited, and you just got caught up in the moment, and that's a rookie mistake, and then we can move on from that. It is what it is, okay? So, now I'm going to be positive. First off, his mobility is actually something very nice. He needs to learn to get down, but his mobility is actually starting to be something that it's very beneficial to our team whenever he takes off running. And he doesn't usually end up bad for us. We usually get a first down or get like 10 yards. He just needs to learn to avoid contact. And it's good that he'll stick his nose in and take a hit to get a first down. But when you're the franchise and quarterback going forward, and I think that's probably the way the Redskins are going to aim this. When you're the franchise quarterback going forward, you got to make sure that you're on top of your game. Okay. Another positive I'm going to take away from him. He does seem to have a better control of the offense now. It's good that he's starting to come out of the huddle better. He's calling plays better. I actually think he's actually starting to read defenses better. And that sounds weird, but when you're over missing guys that are open, guess what? You found a guy that's open. Now that could be scheme. It could be that this is a scheme and look at this way because we know the defense they're running, and this is the best play to run, yada, 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 and so on and so forth. There's a lot of different ways you can technically do this, okay? There's a lot of ways that you can scheme, and as long as the quarterback follows it, I mean, a perfect example, Jared Goff, I don't think is actually a good quarterback or as good as he could be. I think Sean McVay is so good at adjusting the plays around him that make him look extremely good, so if I'm being honest. So, but regardless of that, he's still found the guy open. And there's guys in the league, and I've actually know one. I live in Pittsburgh, the quarterback here, and in Pittsburgh for years, doesn't always follow the play the way you're supposed to. All right? So it doesn't always follow the play the way you're supposed to, and things like that. So that's one of the biggest gripes Antonio Brown had with him. There's a play to get him a wide open look for a touchdown, and Ben completely looks the opposite direction and ignores the play. That's one reason why him and Todd Haley butted heads. But so at least following the play through the letter is good, and then finding a guy open is good. He needs to cut down on his turnovers. He had a fumble and an interception. He need to cut that down. But I mean, at least he's finding guys open. He's getting touchdowns. At least we're moving the ball. There's a lot of guys got to make like extremely athletic catches because the ball is overthrown or thrown in a bad spot. And there's times when some guys just drop the ball, and you can't really adjust for that as a quarterback. Maybe throw in a better spot. That's the only one I can recommend. But that's what there's positives to get out of this. The cupboard, like I said, the cupboard is not bare with this kid. He's definitely got a cannon for an arm. He's definitely got skills. He's got abilities that I think he could be a pretty good quarterback in the NFL. And he's finding guys open. When you're overthrowing McLaurin for a touchdown, and you're missing by a yard, guess what? You still found McLaurin. Okay? When you're overthrowing Harmon on an out route, guess what? You're still finding Harmon on an out route. So you're doing a lot of things right. Like I said in another video, it comes down to mechanics. And this is what my biggest fear is. Rather than him improving on like the reading the defense aspect like he should be, I think he's going to be spending most of this offseason correcting his mechanics. When you throw high as much as he does, first off, when he throws the ball, it's either 0 mile an hour when he doesn't throw it, or it's 120 mile an hour. It's super hard and super fast. And like he had a touchdown to McLaurin, but he couldn't just loft it up there to McLaurin and McLaurin get a touchdown. He basically fired it 120 miles an hour, harder than it had to be for a receiver that was pretty much wide open. Now, again, he found the guy open. You just got to learn that in that play, you don't have to fire the ball a million miles an hour. You can loft it up to him, put it in his breadbasket, and you get a touchdown. And, we go up early in that game. And you move the ball very well to get in that spot. So, take advantage of that. And I could go over play by play. There's a lot of different plays I can go over. I'm not going to. I already talked about positive. He's finding guys open. If he finds guys open, just hits it, we win that game by 2 or 3 touchdowns. Honestly, I'm not even making that up. McLaurin gets a touchdown there rather than a field goal. That's good. That's good. We get a touchdown there. McLaurin could have had another touchdown later in the game, overthrown. It's fine. Things like that. And we had another play later in the game where a receiver was overthrown deep, so on and so forth. And so there's a lot of positives that got to Haskins. Now I'm going to talk about other players real quick. Josh Norman finally gets benched. He's done. He's done. He's not what he used to be. He was good for us for a little bit. He's done. The only thing I can consider is I don't think he deserves the salary that he's getting next year. He definitely doesn't deserve that. Veteran minimum. I might consider him at safety if we can't find a good safety in the draft, because I know he's at least smart enough to play the game. But he just can't cover people anymore. That's his biggest problem. He's still a good tackler. He's still a good, overall just intelligent player. The problem is he's just not fast enough to cover people anymore. And I think he might have a skill as a field general, like a safety. So that might be the best thing for him, honestly, if he can be moved to safety. But if he's not a safety or doesn't want to do that, he needs to be cut. He's not good enough anymore. And the young guys, putting these young guys in to cover guys and get playing time is a smart move, because we have a good young defensive core. Holcomb is good. We have a whole defensive line's young. There's a lot of good young talent that we need to exploit. I think, was it Nicholson or Monroe? One of those two got 2 interceptions, which was great. Jimmy Moreland should have had one. If he'd had one, that'd have gone to the house, and that'd have been a game-winning interception. But the defense, I'm going to give some positive on the defense real quick. The defense did very well in this game. Of forcing turnovers when they needed to, and I'm pretty sure that's what won the game. The offense couldn't score, and it wasn't because they weren't trying. They had options and shots deep and things like that. It's got to be more accurate, and I've already gone over that with Haskins about being more accurate, but he did find people. Last thing I want to talk about is the offensive weapons that the Redskins have. I'm one of these people that's super optimistic about what we have going forward. We have Darius Geis, and I've seen him catch the ball out of the backfield. I've seen him run hard. I think Darius Geis is what he was advertised as. He just has to stay healthy. If he can stay healthy, I don't think we need to go searching for another running back. Especially with Bryce Love coming back, that'd be an excellent 1-2 punch that we can. And basically, once both their rookie contracts are up, we can decide which one we want to go forward with. I don't think it's going to be too big of an issue. But I like both of them. Just make sure we keep them both healthy going into next season. Okay. I think we are set at the wide receiver position for a while. Richardson's good, McLaurin's good, Harmon's good, and Trey Quinn. And those are 3 young receivers, and Richardson's not super old, but 3 very young receivers that I like going forward. And I also like Steven Sims. Steven Sims should be doing more punt return stuff like that. He is an explosive player. You get him the ball in space, no one's catching him. And he's very explosive. I don't think it makes sense to not make sure this guy gets the ball in his hands on a consistent basis in an offense. So the offensive line, I actually didn't mind. Donald Penn didn't start. John Christian did. I didn't think John Christian was doing bad. Now I will say this: I saw someone on Facebook say that Haskins is running for his life. That's a bold-faced lie. Haskins was not running for his life. He had some pretty clean pockets for a decent amount of the game. Did he get sacked a few times? Sure. It's because the other team stunned it very well. But he was not running for his life. That is a bold-faced lie to anyone who thinks that. Okay? The protection was pretty solid for him all game. We actually didn't do a bad job at not committing penalties. This is one of the few games I can say this year we didn't commit penalties. Usually I got to get on here and say how much Morgan Moses sucks. You got to say how much Brandon Sheriff is somehow regressing. I think what he's doing is playing bad, so the Redskins don't franchise tag him, but they're going to because he's a good enough player that you should franchise tag. And our center's not bad, and actually the left side of our line's not doing bad at all. Whether it's Jerron Christensen or Donald Payne on the left tackle, or looking at Eric Flowers and Chase Roulier, from the center to the left tackle, that's the most solid part of our offensive line, and it has been all year. The right side's the one that gets penalized the most. The right side's the one screwing us over with plays. Right side's the ones that are like missing snap count, things like that. So I mean, if we can retain, I think Jerron Christensen is going to be the guy going forward at left tackle, unless they find someone extremely good in the draft that's just going to blow them away, and we can move Jerron Christensen to the right tackle and get rid of Morgan Moses. I actually like our offensive line going forward. I like a lot of the things about our team going forward. I think the biggest thing we're going to have to worry about is, one, getting tight ends. Jeremy Sprinkle, I think he's done an admirable job, or a decent job this year of filling in. Same with a couple other tight ends, but they're not the caliber that Jordan Reed and Vernon Davis is. We have to get some high caliber, good, athletic catching receivers. That is a complete part of our offense that we had to scrap, because we did not have the two dynamic tight end weapons that we anticipated having this entire season. That was one of the biggest issues we have with our offense. We have no control over the middle of the field because we don't have any tight ends. So everything's relied upon rookie receivers and Trey Quinn. And I think that's part of the biggest issue, is they're not able to. The tight ends, Jordan Reed and Vernon Davis, would command a lot of attention and give those guys more one-on-one matchups and give them the opportunity to get open easier. But without having to worry about tight ends very much, it's just not the case. So that's the reason why I think that's the biggest hole in our offense right now. If we had two decent tight ends, we'd probably have a completely different season right now. Probably wouldn't even be talking about Haskins. I think, because I think Case Keenum, he will find guys open, and Jordan Reed and Vernon Davis both had. Even the first game where Vernon Davis was playing, he was open all the time. He was getting found a lot. He had that great run in the first game, so on and so forth. So those are the biggest things we need in the offseason, is to solidify the secondary, because we're going to make sure we have good corners. We got to solidify. I think our defensive line is okay. A lot of rumors about the Redskins looking to go get Chase Young and solidify our defensive line. I don't understand why you would do that. If you get Chase Young, who are you sitting? I mean, unless you're playing him at linebacker. Who are you sitting? And unless it's a middle linebacker, I mean, it's really the only spot we have right now to fill, because John Bostic's probably not going to come back, but we also have Reuben Foster and Cole Holcomb. So I don't know where we're going to find the spot for him. Maybe we're not happy with Montez Sweat. Maybe he's going to replace Kerrigan. I don't know. We'll find out. But Chase Young is a good player, so I wouldn't hate having him on the Redskins. The question is, what are we doing with the rest of the positions? I think secondary is more important right now, and finding tight ends, so that I think building around our quarterback is more important than building up our defense. I do think our defense is important, but right now we need to make sure our quarterback is the most comfortable he can be if we're looking to make him our franchise quarterback. And the worst case scenario, and he folds next year, but we have the next quarterback we get has a whole bunch of weapons at its disposal. That's the way I think we need to look at it. Obviously, you can build the defense has been gradually being built very well over the last few years. I think personally it has a lot to do with scheme. I think we have too many guys that can win one-on-one matchups, but that's not their forte. I think if we schemed better, I think our defense could be significantly better. And I think that's the biggest issue with our defense. I don't think we have a bad defense. I think we have bad scheme defense. I've voiced this before. Greg Minuski should have been the one fired. I think he should have been the one fired first. I'm not going to say Jay Gruden shouldn't have got fired, but I will say this as well in the same breath, that our offensive production has plummeted since since Jay Gruden got fired. So obviously, it's not so much the team or the Jay Gruden that's the issue. It's more of what the coaching staff, or it's more the front office and things like that interfering with him doing his job. Because the front office gave Bill Callahan all the free reign he wanted, and the team's offense plummeted. Defense got no better. And I mean, the only thing benefiting the defense now is they get to play a lot of young players. I really hope Greg Minuski's gone. He should have been the first one gone. I think getting rid of him and either bringing someone in to be a defensive coordinator, or maybe moving Rob Ryan to defensive coordinator. Rob Ryan will at least blitz guys. He'll bring the house. He'll bring pressure. Greg Minuski's proven to not have the ability to do that. He's definitely not been proven to have the ability to bring pressure on opposing quarterbacks and make them, make decisions, snap decisions under duress. That was very apparent on the first game of the year, and it was been apparent all season long. So I don't know why he hasn't been fired yet. I really don't. I thought that would have been I would have fired him after the Eagles game. You have 80% on third downs in the second half that cost us a game. 3 50-yard touchdowns. That cost us a game. We straight up lost. We still lost by we lost by a touchdown. It was like 6 points or something. So I think we lost by a touchdown, and that was the game right there. Even if the offense doesn't move the ball anymore, when you're giving up 80% third down conversions, the defense is on the field too long. You're giving the team and you're converting 50-yard passes for touchdowns. This is bad scheming. It's bad play calling. You're not bringing pressure on the quarterback. And all three of those were third down at 3rd and 10 or longer. I need to digress. We're not talking about Eagles game. We need to get back on track and talk about next game. Apparently, there's a lot of buzz saying that the Redskins are going to score some points, and this is a breakout game for Haskins against the Carolina Panthers. We'll see. I thought the Carolina Panthers had a solid defense, but apparently, I actually didn't know this until I looked at my fantasy team, because I have their defense, that the Redskins are actually, or the Carolina Panthers give up a decent amount of points. So we'll see. I'm not going to go too much into anything else. I'm excited about the young talent. Haskins is doing some things right. Hopefully he can take the next step and hit those deep passes, and then we can actually start opening up the offense. Obviously, we're going to come across a defense eventually that's going to make him look like a rookie. That's fine. But he needs to show that he's progressing, and I think he is progressing. So I'm not going to say he's not, but we need a game where he gets like 280 yards and like 2 or 3 touchdowns, and not 2 or 3 touchdowns in garbage time. As much as I'm proud of him to get the 2 touchdowns late against the what team was it? The Jets. As much as I'm proud of the fact he got 2 touchdowns late against the Jets. Was it the Bills? It was the Jets. I'm proud of that, but still, it's garbage time for the other team. And I mean, he did show that he threw one and the guy ran 50 yards, but the other one he did find a guy open and hit him. So that's my video. This is JD. This is Redskins Rant. Like, share, subscribe, and hail to the Redskins. See ya.